Should we start? Okay, thank you. Welcome to our session on business service management and alert management. My name is Patrick Richards. I'm working in the product management of SAP Cloud ALM. Together with me, I have my colleague Frank Wenske from product management and a very special guest, Thomas Hiesner from customer Swiss Krono. Just that you have an idea what we are talking about. So by now you should already know our architecture of SAP Cloud ALM for operations. We'll talk about business service management, which consists out of service level management, event calendar, intelligent event processing, and alert management. That's a chance. And in particular, we will talk about the following topics. First of all, Thomas Hiesner from Swiss Krono will present us how they use business service management in SAP Cloud ALM to manage degradation and disruption events using business service management. Then Frank will give us an introduction how you can use event actions, which is a new feature, and event actions variants, which are reusable configurations, to configure the sending of outbound actions like mail, ticket, operation flows, or chat messages. And the third topic is basically an outlook, how we will use or how we plan to use generative AI to resolve detected problems more efficiently. But now I would like to hand over to Thomas, who will explain us how Swiss Krono uses business service management.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and also welcome from my side. My name is Thomas Hiesner, and I'm the head of SAP Application Lifecycle Management at Swiss Krono Group. As the name already indicates, Swiss Krono is a Swiss-hold company. It's a private-hold company, and we are not doing anything with watches. We are working with wood-based materials, and we are in the B2B market for interiors. Flooring is a big part, and building materials. As you can see, we have around over 5,000 employees worldwide. We're running in 10 plants in 8 countries. Few of them are complicated at the moment. As you can see here, we have around 120 distribution partners around the globe. So we are globally settled. And of course, IT at Swiss Krono is not a big topic. As you can imagine, if you come from a wood material industry and there is a new head of Application Lifecycle Management, nobody is interested in IT. They're just going to say, okay, just do that. That is something that's a little bit around from Swiss Krono at the company. As I started 3 years ago, I faced through the situation that the solution manager was there. Yes, that is correct, but it was only an installation. My assumption was we have already all the processes in solution manager, and I just can improve the processes. But yeah, that was a wrong assumption. So what challenge did I face? First of all, I had to implement the solution manager, and then I heard about Cloud ALM. Oh my goodness, what else? What is that again? Cloud ALM. Now we have a new toy. And for me, the very first time it was very clear, I will only set up in solution manager the basic functions. I don't know if you can imagine, I started with Excel sheets to manage transport requests. How to bring that in production. That is that is the package I got. And so I decided from the very first time, okay, first of all, we have to implement the change request management, but the basic functionalities, no extensions. And of course, you can imagine everybody will say, oh, I need here a button, I have to do this, I have to do this. And I said, no. We're not going to do this. We are focusing on SAP Solution Manager, and everything we can hand over or move already to Cloud ALM, we will do that. So the first thing what I did, I activated the Cloud ALM tenant. And I'm not sure who of you is using the cloud ALM already, or is not using. Not using. Okay, so. And then you need use cases. Yeah? What is the easiest use cases? I just switch it on, and as you heard already many times, and if you are using Cloud ALM, you know that already. It's very simple. You just switch it on, wait a while, and the processes are running. But you need some use cases. And for me, the use case was really the event calendar. As you can see here, yeah, we came from a local IT. You can imagine we are operating in 8 different countries. That means also we had 8 different IT departments in that countries, and we are on the way to globalize this. So everybody has his own decision, everybody has his own opinion and the way to do things. Yeah? The really challenge was to bring the local to a global approach, and we are not at the end of the story, and all that kind of shadow IT and this kind of unstructured, disrupted processes, and I really hate it. Yeah? My mission is since 25 years to bring really IT where it belongs to, apart from Excel and all the manual stuff. And the daily communication, and I know, I guess many of you know there's this numerous email distribution list. Yeah? Nobody is maintained it properly. Yeah? You send it out, and you will find an employee in the company who will say, oh, I never got this mail. Yeah? And then it turns out, oh, why? Nobody maintained this distribution list. Yeah? And of course, as a head of Application Lifecycle Management, who's responsible for that? Me. They will call me, or they will call the C-level, and they will say, okay, I never got this information. Suddenly we have a regression testing in the project. And I never heard about it. Yeah, and all this kind of event planning in Excel. And I'm really upset with that kind of Excel planning. Yeah, there are really big Excel sheets when to do what and when are our next appointments, and that's why I was looking for a new solution for that, and I had some prerequisites. And you will see in a minute that, yeah, we got it really. First of all, I need real-time events for disruption and degradation. Yeah? Because what is if a production system is out of running? Nothing. First of all, there is nothing. Then somebody will call his colleague and will say, did you experience some problems with our production system? And then they will try it out. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then there is like an information chain, and after an hour or even later, it reached the IT, and they will say, oh, the system is out of running. Yeah? And for us, I'm not sure if you can imagine, for us the major problem is we are getting trucks with the wood. Yeah? And in the big plants, that's around 400 trucks a day. So that means they have an application, they have an app, they can register like a doctor's appointment. Yeah? And our plants are not that far from the highway. So that means if there is a problem with the IT, with all that kind of application, there is a really chain. And if you get once in your life the picture from the highway that there is really a traffic problem because all the trucks are waiting in front of our gate, I can promise you the C-level is not amused about it. So, yeah, first of all, I want to have it also centralized, yeah, not maintaining every event in different solution. And what I also want to bring together is the business and the IT. Because mostly the problem is that IT is more or less well informed, but the business every time will say, okay, that is also the nature of the business that they are explaining. Okay, I don't know. Yeah? But at least you have to give them a chance to get this information right away. So that means I want to have a platform where everybody comes together. And of course, it should be easy, consumable, cost efficient, and transparent. This was really my prerequisites. And I also want to have, since we are in a rollout since many years already, we are having an ongoing S/4HANA rollout, and of course, our activities shouldn't have any impact on this high prioritized project. Yeah? Everything what we are doing in the background, and nobody should notice this as a showstopper. I had already a lot of problems to implement the solution manager and tell the project, okay, now you have processes. Yeah? We have change request management. You have to fulfill requirements. There are showstoppers. We have transport-related checks and all that magic that comes already with a solution manager. And if I would come in addition with this one, yeah, I'm not here, I guess, anymore. This time. So what did we found? Yeah, I checked the capabilities in Cloud ALM, and for me the event calendar is easy to consume, easy to maintain, and you can just start with it. That was the major point I found out, and so I decided to start with this. First of all, it's a cloud-native solution. I can have access even on my phone. Yeah? I don't need to maintain anything. It is just right away there. You can just use it. And I don't know who of you is in a relationship. Oh, so sorry. And who of you had a shared calendar within the family? Yes. And exactly that's it, what I'm talking about. Yeah? First of all, my first project was in my own family because we have different shared calendars between the kids and the parents because not everybody should get every information. Yeah? And that was where the idea was coming from to implement this all. Yeah, and how looks by now? As I said, we are a mid-sized company, and if you can see here already, we have more than 150 systems and services already. So if you are a much bigger company, you can imagine you will get some more. And it is really difficult to oversee everything. Imagine you have such cloud application for registering the truck drivers. It's run on BTP. And of course, if this service is not working, it doesn't matter what you are doing in your ERP system. If they cannot register, you're facing already a different problem. And that's why we also want to schedule periodic events like deployment windows. Before, as I started, we had a deployment window twice a week with more than 500 transports in the week. So that means the production system is really up, and we have sometimes only the half of piece of software. But this is a different story. That's why we scheduled now, and I will show you that in a second, and deployment window so everybody knows, okay, and on this day, we periodically deploy software in the production system. And you can take care of that, don't start intensive running processes in behind or the sales process. It might be better to stop the sales process to creating the invoices for that particular 30 minutes. And for me also was this kind of notification very important. And as I started with Cloud ALM Business Service Management, we had only this email notification. There is one good thing about the email notification. You can also include external partners. And yes, we have an ongoing implementation project, and I don't want to give every of our external partners access to the Cloud ALM. But what I could do, I could maintain this notification list and include also external partners. And the good thing with this is they will get informed of ongoing activities, but they don't have access to Cloud ALM. And as the user management so far, it's free. So we are able to maintain every day more and more users. And what we also do, we plan our ongoing activities like support packages, release changes, and everything we are planning we are putting in this calendar. So, and from that point, I can say, okay, we provided to all of you all the necessary information. And then from the business sides, the other part is to take this information. And I can tell you already, you won't get everybody. You will lose people on this way because there are some employees they're expecting personalized, individualized notifications because they are only interested, for example, for the system X. And they say, I don't interest in the test system. And then I'm asking every time the question, oh, you are not interested if there are ongoing tests, if we are refreshing the systems? I'm wondering. But with this, you cannot solve this problem. That is a personal problem, and maybe you have to do that with the HR. Now we're coming to a short demo. Of course, this. What I also did is What? Yeah, and in between, I can share some insights what we are planning next. Of course, we have also a Jira service desk. And there are two worlds. There is the Atlassian Jira world and this freaky SAP world. And of course, my colleagues are saying, okay, but this is our main tool. How can we do that? And that is quite easy. I'm not sure if it's already available, but maybe the colleagues from SAP can say something later to this. We will push this notification from the calendar automatically also to the Jira world. So then we have this information on both sides, and they are in sync, and everybody can consume this. In the meantime, we just shared the link to the IT calendar within our intranet. And when we get a picture, a view here.
Oh.
Are there any questions in between, so to cover the technical meantime? Yeah, and to make things much more complicated, we are also implementing at the same time Signavio, the Signavio suite. This. Okay. We are also implementing at the same time the Signavio suite. So there is a lot to do. But coming back to the business service management, what we're also going to do, we send out the link directly to the IT calendar. And if you don't want this, the IT calendar is here in the business service management. And you can create your business service on your own needs. What we did, first of all, I created some business services according to our sales, to our department. But then it turns out, for us at least, it is not the best way to start. So we decided to really cover it with production system, test system, pre-production, according to the landscape. And as you can see here already, for the main tiles, you get already the major informations here. If we are in the maintenance, or is there an ongoing activity behind, or we are running in a standard running mode. And as you can see here in our production, obviously on October 1st, there is an event planned already. And if you go then to the calendar, and I switch for the in the yearly mode, so you can see there is a lot to do. I don't want to explain a calendar in details here because I imagine you know how to use a calendar. But as you can see here, we have only focused now on SAP solutions. Yeah? What you also can do, you can create services up to your needs. Yeah? Whatever you create as a service, Microsoft, Atlassian, whatever you can do, you can maintain here in Cloud ALM. Later on, I heard about that should be also an automatic way for linking a non-SAP system. But this one here is really coming out of the box. And what you can see at first here, it's Cloud ALM, obviously. That was not prepared. Obviously, there was an ongoing maintenance or an event in Cloud ALM. And for this, you don't have to do anything. It just comes out of the box. It is there already. What's coming next? Hopefully, we will see that from the SAP colleagues. I requested already what we're going to do with our on-prem system. And as I learned with the on-prem system, to get really, if they are still up and running, it's not such easy. But as I heard last year, I got promised that will come in the future. So by now, somebody has to realize the system is down and have to maintain an event here manually. So this gray one here, as you can see, are the manual created events. What we are doing here, we have a bunch of employees are able to create this kind of events. In this case, I did it by myself because we are just roll out the US plan with SAP. And we are obviously in the cut-over phase. And all the systems are here mentioned. And if I just create an event here. So then I won't take a production system here because that is a live system really. What? Why not?
Verstehe ich nicht. Soll ich echt?
Okay, so. So I just take a system and so that is more or less everything. If you do, you cannot see that, right? I just create an event first. Yeah, to create an event on a manual way, you can imagine it's just in your private calendar. You create an event, you give it a name, and all what you see here is already, if I created the service, the business service contains all the systems and services are relevant for this service. And as you can see here, we have cloud services, we have on-prem systems, and obviously we included in our production service all the production tenant services we are providing. That is also this kind of app for registration. That is also our production system, because it doesn't matter. Either the production system is not available or got problems, or the service to register the truck driver for our gate. We have a problem and we have to fix that. And once you are created this service here, here they EHP is a development system. Yeah, what you also have, I forgot to mention, of course, you have your service level agreements. So that means all the service level you agreed with your business partners, you can maintain here within Cloud ALM. You can monitor that, you can report that. Everything is here visible. And let me check if you get already this notification. Obviously, it's not here. But I can show you some old. What we integrated now, we integrated the MS Teams channel integration via webhook. We created a dedicated channel for notification. And these cards are pushed here really. You get the name of the system, you get a description. I don't know if you could see that right now. I described a little bit what is it all about the service. This one you will get here as well. You have also the start and end date, the duration, and you will also get the IT event calendar, the direct access to the event calendar. So everything is really prepared. And what you're also going to do is you can use this email distribution list you can maintain. This has some restriction due to the GDPR topic, because if you invite somebody to get this notification, you have to press, yes, I want to get this notification, I want to have it. If they don't do that, they won't get. And after 6 months or after a period, they have to renew it. And that is quite complicated because most of the users are not doing it. And they are wondering why I don't get it. That's why this one is a good alternative. And we are waiting to bring all this information also in the intranet. And as I can see, I'm mostly out of the time already. Sorry for that. Yeah, and we are also excited to see what's coming up, what's new in business service management. And I also can say, try it out. It's very simple to use. It gives you a really common platform to monitor all your events. And with more and more automation also coming from SAP, that makes really our lives easier, and we can really disappear these Excel sheets. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Before we come to the next topics, I just would shortly explain. Thomas mentioned that he wishes some things from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would like
it's not Christmas, but soon.
Soon. Very soon, maybe. So maybe I'll just shortly highlight what we achieved in the last year. Basically, we have event action variants. This means if you configure outbound actions like sending emails, creating tickets, creating chat messages, then you always had to do it per business service per business service. Now you can save a configuration and apply it to the next business service that you have. You don't have to go through the configuration steps one by one. Frank will show this if I leave him enough time. Maybe. Secondly, basically what we also support since last year, Thomas already showed it, we support for status event like disruption or degradations or maintenance event that you can get an email, a chat notification, or for example, that you can trigger at the beginning of a maintenance, for example, a so-called operation flow, an automated script or workflow that achieves some things automatically, or an UI automation. Third, for our focused run customers, we forward the status events, disruption, degradations, maintenance events that we receive from SAP for me for SAP managed cloud services, also to SAP focused run. Last but not least, so far we received from SAP for me only disruptions and degradations and maintenance events, but for private cloud systems / RISE systems, we didn't receive the planned downtimes. This we also receive in the meantime. And of course, we have more in the pipeline. So planned. Basically, so far, as a source for status events, for disruption degradations events, we got them from SAP for me, or you were able to create them manually in the event calendar. But in the future, we also provide an inbound API so that, for example, you can, I don't know, if you have an ITSM system where you plan your own maintenances, you can inject them also into SAP Cloud ALM BSM. We provide an additional outbound API. I mean, as you saw, we have a service level reporting. Thomas showed it briefly, where we also calculate per business service and achieve service level. You can also export this via API and then put it into your own reporting tools or Grafana or the SAP Analytics Cloud or whatever. We plan in SAP for me for SAP Managed Cloud Services, you get the where they report some on calculate on communicated availability per cloud service. We will import this also in the course of next year and show it. Next point is very important. At the moment, the only sources, for example, for disruption or degradation events are either from SAP for me, so the cloud service outage notifications from SAP for me, or if you create it manually. In the future, basically, we'll also enable our monitoring use cases. The first monitoring use case that will be enabled is synthetic user monitoring. As soon as synthetic monitoring detects whatever that business service has an outage, it will create in additionally a disruption event or a degradation event in BSM. New event types for private cloud systems. We will have, we also have in SAP for me events like contractual maintenance period. We have planned availability in non-SAP non-service hours. We will successively import them also, that we also get the complete picture in BSM for private cloud systems. And and in addition, we also plan to provide additional features on authorizations that you can grant only certain users access to certain business service. This is what we have in the pipeline for BSM, plus some more things. So I hope next year I can show you all of this, or maybe most of this, I hope so. And now I would like to hand over for Frank for a different topic.
Yeah, welcome also from my side. So now we have seen quite a lot of things what BSM can do for creating events and so on. And normally we are investing a lot to create very nice UIs, also from the monitoring use cases. So everywhere where you are in monitoring, you have very nice UIs to see the current status of your landscape, to see current issues in the landscape. But one of the main problems is most customers don't want to sit 24/7 in front of the PC and look at the UIs. So they want to get proactively notified. And this is the place where intelligent event management comes into the game. So, we are in the end in the center of the applications and sitting below each of the applications. So whenever there's something you need to trigger, might it be an email message, might it be a chat message, or you want to send data to an external tool via API calls, then it comes via intelligent event processing. We have decided to make this a central functionality. That the advantage for this is you are reusing the same logic and the same functionality across all use cases. So not every use case has to implement, so I want now to support email or I want to support tickets. You only have to do this once, and all the use cases gets it then rolled out. And as part of this, we have learned in the beginning of Cloud ALM that the configuration might become very complex. And to reduce this complexity a bit, we now introduced event configuration variants, which in the end stores the configuration, what you want to do with an event as a configuration variant. And you can reuse this configuration variant across multiple events, across multiple use cases. And even changing this then in a mass way. So, for example, you have multiple email recipients who are responsible for 10 or 15 different events. And now the team changes and you get a new employee in the team. You don't need to change 15 event configurations. You only go into the event configuration variant and add one additional recipient. And in all of those 15 events, this one recipient is now added. And the same way, vice versa. I don't want to focus now too much on what is IAP in detail because we are running a bit out of time. So high-level overview I already gave. Also about our outbound channels. And now, what is now this with this event configuration variance? And I will show this live in the system. Let me open my system. So here I'm in integration and exception monitoring. I have configure. Okay. So unfortunately it worked. It came back and it's also stable. Let's have a look into it. So we have here the configurations of one of the systems. We have a lot of different monitoring data we want to monitor, and we also have some events which are already configured. So I take one here, concur objects detected. And now I can decide here in the event actions what I want to do with it. And of course, I can do this in each and every single event. It's a quite easy step, so I don't have to do too much. So I select my email recipient. Let's use this test recipient. Very stable. This time it's not Cloud ALM who is unstable, it's the hardware. I also want to create the chat notifications. Also here I have to say where I want to create the chat notifications. So I have to select the Teams channel where I want to create it. And I also can say I want to create a ticket. Also here, hopefully, the value help in our case comes up. Just checked it. So and this would be the configuration flow for all of the different things. So, but if I now have 15 events they are all responsible for, and I want to do the same thing in 15 events, would be quite a bit of time I have to invest here. Instead of doing those, I can simply say, save it as variant. Frank. Demo. As you can see, in this case, as soon as I change it as I save it as a variant, it's used here as variant, and I'm not able to change the variant anymore. So in the UI, everything what is configured in the variant I can see, but I can't modify it. If I want to modify, I can go to the variant management. I can save it. And now I can repeat my configuration very, very fast. I go to the second event, also here again to the event actions. And I simply reuse my variant, Frank Demo. And all the configuration is replicated. That's the whole story beyond it. And hopefully this makes event configurations a lot easier and a lot faster for everyone to do. Okay. That was what I wanted to show for the event configuration variants. And we are not only investing in how to make the event a bit more flexible to configure. Also, in the next couple of months, we are releasing some additional things. So for example, we are investing to provide group notifications. So having something like a daily summary. So you don't want to get notified each time a certain exception happens, but you want every morning at 9 o'clock when you start your working day, you want to get a summary about the exceptions of the last day. And these are summary events which we also want now to enable. Also, one feedback we got is currently if you send something from Cloud ALM, it's always sent in UTC time zone. That's pure technical nature. So the system is running in our data center. Everything is in UTC. And beside the email address, we don't know so much about the users. So we don't have any locations of users and so on. That's why we send it out in UTC time zone. What we will allow in future now is we will allow a configuration that for email and chat messages, you can configure a time zone. And then all the timestamps which are inside of the payload are converted into this time zone, and you get your data in the local time zone. And the last thing will be then an outbound for the raw events. So currently you only get the summary, so only when the event status is changing, you get some information via the API. In future, you will also have the capability to receive each and every single event via OpenTelemetry log entries, and then you can also process them externally in your external system. So one thing I have shown also is our famous action for generating alerts in Cloud ALM. So the Cloud ALM alerts also have the same kind of problem like the monitoring UI. So the Cloud ALM alerts are sitting inside of the Cloud ALM UI. And we are summarizing very detailed what happened at the time when the event happened. And now this alert content is very rich, and depending on the monitoring use case, also based on the KPIs, what is inside of such an alert can be very, very complex. And we may try to make it a bit easier to get this alert handling done, especially by first-level teams, by ingesting now Gen AI into this alert processing. How? I will show you in a minute. So in the end, what we are doing, we are providing the most important information, what caused the alert, extracting it via generative AI and giving a detailed explanation to the user. And in the second step, we will also guide the user how to solve it. So not reading a 50-pager for a troubleshooting guide for a certain solution. This can also the generative AI do. And we are extracting out of this 50 pages those 2 or 3 sentences which are relevant for this specific situation. This is now a lab preview, so this is not yet available. And it's also an early lab preview because there are currently some boundary conditions, some boundary restrictions we have to solve around it. The functionality itself is fully working, so it's a live demo I will show in a minute. But in the end, there are some questions regarding commercialization and so on. That's why we cannot yet give out any delivery date for this. So, and before we are starting here the recorded demo, I switch back. Yeah, still working. So as I have said, I'm again in the integration monitoring scenario. I have here one scenario for SuccessFactor where I have a data replication, and I get here an error message about some replication errors in SuccessFactor. And what I want now to know is what really happens inside. Of course, I can also navigate into the alert details and show it, but I can also ask Joule. I can ask Joule to give me more details on the alert, and he's summarizing it. What happens? We have here a replication between an S/4HANA cloud system and an Employee Central, which is replicating the bank IDs. And the bank ID has a certain format which has to be considered, and somehow the format which we receive in Employee Central doesn't match. And of course, I could also get the same kind of information also from the alert details. So I have here my message ID. And if I scroll down in the application data, I get exactly the same kind of information. The value bank ID doesn't match. It was with this and this external bank code which was supplied. But this doesn't match to the value which was provided. And the problem is, if I have a SuccessFactors Employee Central, the error messages look like this. If I have a CPI, the error messages are differently encoded. And this way how these error messages are represented here depends on the payload you have. And this Gen AI integration now extracts exactly the important part of the payload and brings it directly to the end user. And of course, we don't want to stop here. We also want now, how can I fix it? So what it's doing now, it's using a troubleshooting guide for Employee Central. This is an advanced help document, which contains all the different error situations in Employee Central. And it extracts now exactly what happens here. So it explains a bit what happened, and it gives you also the steps you have to do to change it. So you have to go to the S/4HANA Cloud system, change the field. So you have to enter here a valid bank ID, which is also according to the standards. And then you have to resubmit the integration. And you can also get here some additional information. So we also use external sources for creating this kind of documents. And we also guide you then to the source document where you get more information on exactly this scenario. And you can also say, okay, I don't understood step 1 now completely, so you can also get step 1 in a more detailed description. You also get then additional fields and so on and so forth. So this is something what we are currently working on. We are not relying here only on public available data, so we are trying to incorporate here KBA articles, SAP notes, and so on. So also internal information which is not available public in the internet, and which cannot be provided out of the box by ChatGPT or something like this. So we are using here information or enriching the ChatGPT models also with internal knowledge to make the resolution of the errors as easy as possible. Good. Having said that, let's go back to the presentation. Just a short update on what we have already what we have changed since the last ALM summit. One question which a lot of customers had was, I had alerts in Cloud ALM and I have worked on them, but after I closed them, I'm not able to see them anymore. And that was one of the enhancements we now provided, so you can now also show closed events in Cloud ALM. By default, we are not visible, so if you want to show it, you have to go to the filter list and say, okay, I also want to see the closed events. Then you see additionally the closed events in Cloud ALM. Okay, having said that, we are at the end of the session. I was asked by the event team that we should ask everybody to rate the sessions. So please go to the event app and rate the sessions. And also please spread out the word about the ALM Summit to make it even more successful next year. If you post on social media, please use our hashtag ALM Summit to bundle all your posts. Okay, having said that, any questions? Bist du hin?
Thank you for this good report. But your situation is maybe another one compared to big companies where you have to run a focused run system. My question to SAP is this planned also to be implemented on a focused run implementation, or is that dedicated? And what is the strategy really to have event-based monitoring and events managed in a focused run environment, or does the big company always have a mixture between Cloud ALM and focused run?
Okay, let me try it. In focused run, of course, we also have alert management. So the outbound channel is a bit different. In focused run, we are not distinguished between external outbound actions and internal outbound actions. So usually the monitoring use cases here creates alerts. This alert trigger also raised a body call, which can be catched by custom implementations and also forwarded to external things, or we are also providing capabilities to send out emails. But the semantics is a bit different. So alerts are always with a rating, with a better rating, so some warning or some error messages, there's no info inside. And of course, you always need to raise the events, alert. These are, of course, differences. But it's also a bit with the scope which we have in mind here for the different audiences that we have here a bit in the outbound side, a bit different behavior. And it's currently not planned to align it and implement something like intelligent event processing now in focused on. It's not on our roadmap.
The combination of what Patrick explained about one message per day, for example, is it in plan, for example, for my CPI colleagues, that they get a lot of messages, error messages, that maybe these AI function can send one message per day to the corresponding people?
Yep, that's exactly one of the points. So actually, we have simple event conditions. So whenever the event happens, you should get an email notification. And in future, we allow complex event conditions, something like get a daily summary about all the events of the last day. This is exactly what we are currently planning, and where we are now in the realization phase.
Is it possible to build a recipient group, like let's say a team, SAP basis team, which is consisting of many members, and like we are used in Solution Manager recipient pools? Is that possible at the moment? This is one question. And the second one is, like Thomas showed, if we build some groups like development system, quality system, and in future we register a quality system or production system to Cloud ALM, is it then actualized? So do we have to add it manually in these groups, the new system?
Shall I answer? Okay. First question is, regarding distribution list. To my knowledge, we don't plan to support distribution list in KLM because the Outlook or whatever SMT program you use, Outlook already, in Outlook you can create a distribution list, then you can register the distribution list as recipient in SAP Cloud ALM. Second question, this is regarding if you define a business service, whether it gets automatically enhanced by system role. This is something at the moment we haven't planned, but we can consider this as a development request or feature request for the future.
That kind of distribution list that works already, but you will face this GDPR topic because first of all, you have to maintain this distribution list, and after 6 months or a period of while, then there will be a notification, and somebody actively have to monitor this distribution list and to renew it, and if not, then it will disappear. But from now, it works already with distribution list, but as he said already, you have to maintain it in Microsoft or. Yeah.
Okay, one last question.
Yeah, I have a question regarding if it's possible to publish the event calendar, so you don't need to have a user inside ALM, so you can embed it in your homepage. You put that in Solution Manager.
Yeah,
the SAP calendar.
That is also an open task we have already, and SAP is maybe willing to implement this, like an embedded calendar in your intranet, something like that.
Okay.
So far, we only provide a link there.
Yeah, the thing is, we are in cloud world. If you embed the calendar in the internet and you want to have it anonymous access to it, then it's available to everyone in the world. And this is something we would like to prevent, but yeah. So I don't. We had this request. We had this request to provide an anonymous access to the event calendar. In Solution Manager we can do it because Solution Manager runs in your intranet, yeah. But Cloud LM doesn't run in your intranet, so. But instead, I mean, we have all the APIs. You can pull the events out of event calendar. You can push the events into an external system. So it's you can use BSM, including the API, simply as an event provider for your intranet event calendar, for example.
Yeah, and what we also currently planning is to push that events, yeah, to the Atlassian world. However that works, yeah, I don't know, because I know my colleagues already working on this service calendar in the Jira world, and then we can also provide our events from Cloud ALM exactly to this calendar or to this function in the Atlassian world. That maybe is also helpful because then you have the view from both sides of worlds without any restriction. That's the idea we're having behind.
You're all hungry, right? Okay. So I think if there are no other questions, then we can go to lunch, right? Oh.
Yeah. Thank you.